Time for a little update on the apartment renovation project. This is our dry sink cabinet that's I actually got it for free on the side of the road. It's going to need a little adjustment to become a vanity cabinet, but can't beat free. Just love the look of it. Really cool hardware, nice quality. I have the knobs and stuff as well, but it's going in the bathroom here. And I'm sorry about the fan light together. When it's on together and I have to listen to the fan, but I made myself a little access hole into the wall that I'm sure the vanity will cover. And we're going to talk about how to install a wall mount faucet. So I chose my height at 44 inches. I have I've done this once before for myself. I have a dry sink cabinet that I modified. I put a vessel sink on it, and I have a wall mount faucet in my own bathroom. And I did a lot of work there to find out 44 was going to work for me, and so I'm just going to replicate that here. So what I did was to keep everything on the same center line, which is an important look for what we're doing here. I have a fixture box that's a predetermined location for the vanity lamp. I used my 8-foot level to plumb down from the center line and throw a line on the wall at that location to give me a center. And then I found 44 inches from the subfloor elevation. I made a mark there. Then I threw the other level on here until that was truly level and threw a line through 44 inches. And then it's a common 8-inch center to center distance. I double checked my faucet, but it's 8 inches between the two connections. So I measure 4 inches over here, 4 inches over there, made a mark, and those will be the locations that I drill to create what's called a stub out situation for the water. Previously, the water came through the floor, hardline copper to these on-off valves and stuff, which we will include again. But I want to get everything out of the floor here. I'm actually going to roll the trap into the wall and drain down through here as well, I believe. Maybe not, but at least the water is going to come through the wall. Getting it in, the water located here for our new faucet is going to allow me to get rid of these. Because downstairs, I'll show you in another video, I'll cut these off and go to PEX, which is what this service is going to be, is a plastic PEX. And then these will come right out of the way on the floor. That will make putting a new floor in here way easier, and just working in this area easier in general. So that's why I'm jumping into this now, because it's going to be a bit before the vanity comes in and stuff. But I'll get the faucet in now for right now. This is ready to be drilled. What size would you drill it? Well, what I need in there is called a drop ear. It has tabs on it for mounting. It has a threaded port on it to accommodate the connection from the faucet coming at us that way, and it has a PEX barb stub going straight downward. And so where I want that is inside the wall, mounted to the wood, up in here, pointed at us. And then I got to use a pipe nipple into this threaded opening, and I got a selection of different length pipe nipples, because once I'm attached to the wall, I need a specific length to come all the way through to the front of this finished wall, and have enough thread to get a hold of with the finished flange for the faucet itself. So I just grabbed a selection of pipe nipples to dial that in. Hopefully that works out for us. This is a unique situation kind of, because this is a solid plank wall. You'll notice the 2x4 or it's closer to a 2x6, but it's in here at 90 degrees from where it would normally be when you frame a wall. That makes the wall bay much smaller. There's matched lumber tongue and groove on there, then drywall, which makes the finished wall itself a lot thicker. Everything about this is sort of a conundrum, or one of the things that you run into when you renovate old spaces. The other side of this plank, there's drywall just like that, and then it's the fiberglass tub just like this situation here for the other apartment. So it would be at their house, it'd be right on the other side of this back wall of their tub over here. So I need to be careful with my screw length as well. I don't want to go right on through the lumber, right on through the drywall, and right out of the fiberglass with a sharp screw tip. That would be super bad. So we're going to be careful about our screw length. And the main question is what I wanted to do is avoid making an access hole up here and then have to finish all around it once the stub out's in place. So what I'm planning is drilling these holes with a spade bit just big enough to reach through with an extension on my drill and send with a screw stuck to the extension, and just reach right by this guy and screw him to the wall back there. The other issue I have is connecting the PEX, and they're actually going to work out together to help me solve this problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use red for hot, blue for cold. I'll get the PEX started onto that stub out there, that barb. This is hard to do with just one hand, but I'm going to start a PEX clamp ring on the hose first. I'm going to sneak the fitting into the PEX, and then I'm going to use the clamping tool. It's got yellow handles right there, like bolt cutters almost is kind of how it works, and you squeeze that little, he bites onto that little tab and shuts that tab out, and it pulls in the rest of the ring tightly all around, and you do it right about there and it'll trap that PEX on there. But the fact of the matter is, I'll do all that first like this, and then I'll have a nice handle with that fixture on that connection on the end of it, and I can reach up into that wall opening like this with my left hand and put him right up there where I want him to be. And it will take some fiddling around. Perhaps I will need an extra set of hands. But then, like I say, with a bit extension on my drill gun, I'll reach right through there, through the hole, right on past. Oh, I didn't put it on there, so I thought I might have lost it in the wall. But I'll reach right on past the fixture itself and run a screw in here and run a screw in on the other side. So I chose 1 3/8 inches. The idea behind choosing your spade bit is you want to choose the absolute largest that you think you're going to need, because it relies on that center point starting to keep you on a center track, and then the outside starts cutting, and then once you start cutting a hole, you're on that center line and you can proceed through the material. If you come back to an existing hole and try to open it up with the next size bigger, there is no material there in the hole for the center to grab onto, and you'll never be able to open a hole, a big hole up any larger using a hole saw or a spade bit without a lot of other kind of frigging around. So you want to be absolutely sure that you have the largest possible size that you can choose out of the gate, and this is what you're going to end up with. This will be in the wall. There'll be, where is it here, a pipe nipple that I've somehow misplaced. Oh, it's right in front of me here. So the pipe nipple of various lengths will be something that we chosen that gets us out of the wall, like that, and it'll come through the finished wall thus, and then we'll need to thread onto this, and that will be with this component here. And so it has a flange face on it, kind of, and that will finish a hole and cover kind of a larger hole. So what I did was I chose a spade bit. It's going to be hard to illustrate potentially, but I chose a spade bit that just, when it's on center, it's quite obviously smaller by a little bit. 1.5 inches is a lot closer to the outside, more of a hazard to be able, that you might, see that hole past that finished flange. So I chose this as it's the largest possible, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to basically drill on these 2 center holes and put those brass drop ears onto the PEX and get those ready to go in there, and then screw them into place. And then it's just a matter of assembling, based on the instructions, the faucet to those connections, and it'll be ready to rock and roll. Then we'll take the other end of the PEX downstairs, hack off the copper, sweat a fitting on that goes to PEX, stick the other end of the PEX on, clamp it, and turn the water back on. And if you wanted, you'd be able to run the faucet up here, although you'd have to put a bucket under it. But it'll get us to a point where, like I say, this existing service can get all out of our way. Finishing the floor will be nicer in here, and I actually have a belly in this floor right here that I'll show you in another video when we talk about the other end of this plumbing, and I'll show you how I'm going to fix that up as well. There has been a lot of hole cutting to accommodate the drain plumbing to the toilet and tub in here. They cut all these joists all up full of holes and notched them all out back in the day when it wasn't easy and you didn't have such a thing as a Sawzall and big hole saws, and you had to use a hand saw. They carved up the floor joists that come through here so badly that they started to break out, so they then shored them up with some crappy old timbers, and it's all just kind of collapsing under its own weight. So we're going to actually jack this up and put appropriately sized sister joists on those joists and strengthen them up. So we got a lot of things happening in that area, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how I'm trying to be clever and install a faucet without disrupting the finished wall. So we'll come back and check out how that all went.